Had they closed a couple high schools, would you have a different feeling today?
I don't even think a couple would deal with it. I mean, the cuts in property taxes, I believe 1 or 2 high schools at the very maximum. My original plan gave an option to the school board. Basically, if they thought that they needed to have 3, fine. I really don't think they need 3. I've been told by one school board member that they believe that 2 schools were the maximum high schools, but yet that school board member voted with the plan as presented. So to me, to continue to operate 5 high schools at $5.8 million on average, not providing the quality of education that our students deserve and need for the 21st century, I think is a disservice to them.
But you'd stick with the district if they only had 3 high schools open?
Absolutely. They're not listening.
Do you need the each school board approval to withdraw from the district? And with that, what are some of the challenges that you anticipate going forward?
Well, the challenges are pretty obvious. Obviously, state law. We would lobby the state legislature to change the policies and procedures, the laws governing the withdrawal, to write new law that would make it easier for municipalities who are disenfranchised, who are feeling like their students are not getting the proper education that makes it difficult for them to grow economically, to be able to withdraw from school systems. I don't think I'm the only mayor in northern Indiana or anywhere else in the state of Indiana that feels the need to have better schools for their communities. I would also ask the state legislators to provide, not just for the only consolidated municipality in the state, Indianapolis, from being able to start charter schools, but any municipality, any city.
But right now you would have to...
Currently we would have to do that, but it is our desire that the state legislators will see the need to not have to have that, because obviously what would be the incentive for East Allen County School Board to say, fine, go ahead. Financially, it doesn't make any sense for them, does it?
Are you leaning towards charter schools, or?
We will look at all viable options to educate our children. If that means looking for the very best in charter schools in our country, I've already started to do some research on the best ones, done some research into the KIPP Foundation. I don't know if some of you are familiar with them or not. I would also be open to replicating the best of private schools in Allen County as well, or anywhere else in the state of Indiana. Using the figure that the master image, or the image master charter school was using back on October 21st in a publication here in Allen County, they were using the figure of approximately $5,775 per student. According to East Allen County Schools attendance figures for the New Haven attendance area, there's a little over 2,800 students in our buildings. I'm going to be a little more conservative and use a number of 2,500, but I think if you do the math, you'll find it's well over $14 million that could be available to our school corporation to teach our children. There's a lot of inconsistencies with what East Allen County publishes. Most recently on September 7th at a school board meeting, and then on the web page the next day, they provided some net assessed valuation numbers and some numbers of attendance. According to the 2009-2010 attendance numbers, New Haven had 2,892 students attending in their 5 public schools, which would equal to 28.8% of the student population of East Allen County schools, with New Haven contributing 25.9% of the assessed valuation. The second largest would be the Leo attendance area at 27.8%, contributing 25.6%. They had it backwards. They had New Haven at 23.3%. Not sure how they got that figure, but even in Mr. Williams's basic mathematics class, I knew that 2,892 is more than 2,801. So there's a lot of information out there. Dr. Kenny Novotny's group, which Mr. Waller was part of, was given statistics from school corporation officers, and then I was told this year by Dr. Green that those numbers were inaccurate. I don't know how that could possibly be. So I think the writing's on the wall that it's not even a plan. At least they're not saying it's a plan. That the writing on the wall is just a status quo plan or proposal, or whatever it may be called. I'm not about status quo. Day one in 2000, I told my department heads, we will not say ever, well, that's the way we've always done it. I do not expect that of any of my employees. None of our elected officials expect that, and I don't believe it's good enough for our students either. So.
When did you decide that you were against the redesign plan?
When it became painfully obvious that we were not being listened to, and it became painfully obvious that good, sound fiscal ideas were not being considered.
And have you reached out to Carol Green and offered to have one-on-one meetings with her?
Dr. Green and I have talked. Dr. Green and I tried to explain to Dr. Green early on, even before the 5 redesign plans were introduced, the importance of New Haven to the economy of East Allen County schools, that the health of New Haven is directly reflected into their health as well, and expressed my views that 5 high schools were still not a viable option.
If the referendum.
I just make a point real quick just to follow up. No one from Dr. Green's staff contacted our city planner for demographics for the city of New Haven or future growth plans, nor my office during the 5 original plans that were produced, just to be clear on that.
If the referendum is to pass and New Haven is to withdraw from East, how would the New Haven residents then, how would they be affected by the referendum, and does that factor in at all?
We would ask the state house to nullify any East Allen County schools taxes collected from residents of the city of New Haven. And then, if necessary, that the New Haven Community School Board would be able to establish a property tax levy and would still be able to get their share according to the state funding formulas per student.
So the team that you've now developed, what are they going to be doing?
They're going to be looking at all aspects, the possibility and the feasibility, to examine what it's going to take in law, to work with our state legislators, Senator Cruz, Representative Pond. We're reaching out to Representative Buck from Kokomo. We're reaching out to all the senators and legislators in northern Indiana, and trying to make our case that there's much more that can be done to educate our students and for the tax dollars.
So